I'm Colin Tasker, and my capstone is going to be a little unorthodox for most of you. Let's start off with some show and tell. I have some interesting things you guys may want to have a look at. My capstone is actually a katana, which I hand forged from a bar of braided cable steel. Now, this is not exactly what I used to make it, but these are all the components used in the making of one. This is a 25-pound anvil, steel, obviously. This would be a forge. It gets up to 1600 degrees Fahrenheit. It would not be recommended to touch it. It would not be good. This is 5160 steel, pretty hard stuff. Actually took me 2 batteries to cut through it. Pass that around if you like. Something else I'd like to pass around is this. These are fittings for a katana that I have in my possession. Take them out, look at them, whatever you want to do. Just be sure to put them back in the bag when you're done. I do actually need them. It's kind of a necessity for them, or else blades fall apart. It's not good. The flying pits of sharp metal, not a good fun time for anyone. My project, since the school doesn't exactly like sharp implements in the school, I wasn't able to bring it. However, I was able to make a very fun little video for you guys, so you can see the process in which I went through to make it. I actually went to a small, traditional, well, as traditional as you can get, swordsmithing school in Oregon, and it's in a small town called Cokewheel, just outside of Eugene. It was the most intense 5 days I've ever had of my entire life, and I'm just going to walk you through my journey. As that's going around and this is kicking off, I'm going to just talk a little bit about my new tech experience and how it's kind of led me down this path. The reason that my capstone is what it is rather simple, really, as I love culture. And seeing the fact that all this culture is going to die out at some point makes me rather sad, because this is an art form that is no longer practiced in 90% of the culture. No one knows about blacksmithing or swordsmithing or anything of the like. And the more you get into it, the more in depth your knowledge gets, the more you know that you need there is to learn. And the funny part is, the farther you get into blacksmithing culture, the more you realize that it's dying out, and it's very sad. And the fact that it dies out is horrible, but since it has to be passed down from teacher to student, and there's no interest in it, it kind of makes good logical sense. Now, about my actual journey here, you'll see approximately 4 people in this video. Me, which is on very rare occasion, surprising because it's my video. That is the Grandmaster of the Forge. That would be Mr. Michael Bell. His son, who is also a master, which would be Gabriel Bell, and my buddy, Brad, who took the class with me. While we were up in the mountains, it was by far the most intense experience, like I said, because, anyone want to guess my hours? Anyone? No?
24. 16.
17.
I worked from 5 in the morning to 8 in the afternoon every day for 5 days. It was intense, to say the least. My face at that exact moment is perfect. That's the mountain. To show you how far out we were out of society, you could actually hear gunshots in the background where people were shooting in their backyard. Not good. Now I'm going to actually start to walk you through the process, and this is what gets the most intense. It looks simple, and it looks like you could do it in your backyard, which I kind of can, but that's not really the point. The process is, we took a piece of braided cable steel. Now, you guys probably know what that looks like. It's used to suspend bridges. You'll see them connecting points on a bridge. Even the Golden Gate Bridge has it. What we did was, we took a segment of that, and we heated it, put flux on it, put it in the fire. Hot. Very, very, very hot. Twisted it, some more, hit it with a very, very, very big hammer. This is in the simplest terms I could possibly put it. It is 2 tons worth of force being exerted downward onto 1600 degree metal. Slag everywhere. It's a very messy business. I would not recommend you going into it unless you're very, very passionate. Because hot slag does not feel good, I promise. You'll have welts. Here you'll see he's cutting a point on a piece of steel that we've just forged out. The reason for that is, we're lazy, I'm sorry, but it would take another 4 days to do the entire process, and it's precious time we don't have. So working through this process, it has made the culture sort of die out, because as time progresses, technology advances, and thusly, thank you, and thusly we no longer can do some of the more traditional means to making these. But what you'll see is he cut the tip so that he can bend the tip around, and here's something interesting you probably don't know about metal, is metal has grain. And that may sound weird because you hear the term wood grain, and that it's the grain of the wood that you see, and it's the way it usually breaks. Metal also has grain. However, you don't see it until it's high polished, which is very interesting. And the reason the tip you just saw was bent around is because if it wasn't, the grain would have flown right off the edge of the blade, and it would probably broke it. And that is not a fun experience 5 days into your ordeal. Oh, my blade broke. Gotta start over. It was not fun at all. So, after you start forging out the shape of your katana, or wakizashi in this case, you get to kind of around this stage where you're kind of starting to peter off into just fine-tuning. And that's what's kind of sad, is people don't have patience for fine-tuning. They just want to get the main thing done and be done with it. And so, this is the other thing that's not modern. We used a disc grinder. How many of you know what it feels like to have your finger caught in a disc grinder? Yeah, that rips flesh off your finger. I actually had that happen. I was missing flesh for about 3 weeks. It was not a fun experience. However, I took a lot of footage while I was up in Oregon, and if I had left it all in there, it would have been a 30-minute video, and I only recorded when I wasn't working. So now we're seeing more fine-tuning, and fine-tuning is the key component of making anything, and it's just a philosophy. So you're seeing clay being applied to the blade, and a lot of you are going to think that's very, very strange. And it is. Don't get me wrong, you guys are straight on in your thoughts, but the clay on the blade is so that you can get the traditional curve you see in most samurai swords, and that is rather hard to do with forging because you will end up messing things up, bungling the whole process. However, with clay you cause, this is where it gets really sciencey, and for those of you who don't like science, you may want to plug your ears, it creates 2 different types of metal. A soft metal on the back side, which is created by the thick layer of clay, when heated and then cooled rapidly, the clay on the back side of your sword cools at a slower rate. As the front side cools at a rapid rate, it starts to bend forward. However, then the cooling side of the back, or the cooling rate of the back side then catches up and starts to bend the blade completely. And that's the step you're going to see right after this. Now you see those little tadpole-looking things made of clay on this edge of the blade? You may not be able to see them. That's why I told everyone to get a little closer. Those are relief points. If you don't have those, you stick it in the water and the whole thing shatters. And it's not fun. Brad's blade actually cracked, which was very sad for most of us. Now I'm going to get into a little bit more of the history while this heart-wrenching moment happens. This is actually really scary if you're in the room, because he puts it in directly into water, and it's the most hideous hissing noise you've ever heard. You think you just dropped into a pit of snakes. It is horrifying. But the culture behind most blacksmithing now is being lost, and the reason for that is lack of interest, maybe, but that gets even more into the parts of the blacksmithing world that most people don't want to get into because of, oh, it's too much work. But that's what my time at New Tech here taught me, is that hard work is worth doing. And that is the most important thing I think I'll take away from New Tech, is that if I work hard and I do what I need to do, then maybe I can create something beautiful like this. And maybe I can create beautiful things. And I guess that's all I wanted to say to you guys. Thank you so much for watching my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it brought a little bit more enlightenment to you on the subject. And any questions? Anyone? While this is finishing up. Yes, what's your question?
Could we hear the hissing noise?
Don't want to.
You don't want to. It is bad. I promise you it's not fun. Yes?
When you talk about 5160 steel, what does that mean?
It's the carbon content within the steel. It is, the higher the number, the more tightly compact the atoms are within the steel, density, lots of things go into the type of steel, but then you get into O1 steels, and what the interesting thing is in 5160s you'll see it in leaf springs, in most cars carry them, some old cars have them. It's just, 5160 is good solid metal. Anyone else? Questions? I'm good?
Do you see any modern applications to blacksmithing or processes that they go through?
I do, in fact. Modern application is a rather interesting subject to get into, because most people will debate the fact that, oh well, a factory can produce more or better. However, there's something to be said for time. You put effort into something, and the more effort you put into something, the better it's going to be, generally speaking. However, even in a factory setting, you can't reproduce the way that it's done by a blacksmith because of the simple amount of time it takes, and it's no longer efficient at a factory level. Farriers is a great example. Farriers are still used to shoe horses to this day because they still do a great job. In my opinion, that's my practical portion. Anyone else? I can do this all day. Anyone else?
I'm here all week.
I got answers. No one? Okay, I guess I'm done.